Coming up on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365. Yes, it happened. Matthew Boyd, Carson Kelly, and Gavin Hollowell walk into a ballpark and own the Giants. Load up the beer bat. CHGO Cubs next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at checkout. Cubs win 9-2 over the Giants. We will have a beer bat chug. Hello to everybody in the live YouTube chat on the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, which the chat will be going all show long. Make sure you're there, subscribe, hit the like button, and check out our content after the show. We've got lots of it up there for you.
Hit that like button.
Get the little thumbs up thing. Sarah's running the 1s and 2 tonight. I expect a good beer bat chug out of Cody. I expect great comments in the chat.
Only good comments.
Only good comments. We will get to the negative stuff, the Shota update, all of that later in the show. Early in the show, though, we're going to talk about the offense because 9 hits, 9 runs. They're facing a team that actually had a better record than they did coming into this one. The Giants have gotten off to a great start, but somehow still sit in third place in their division because it's that good. And this was another nice way to start a series against a really good team. And dare I say, Carson Kelly is Barry Bonds.
I mean,
move over Shohei.
Move over, Ohtani. We got Carson Kelly,
Is that
man.
Ted Williams? No, it's not. It's Carson Kelly.
If you haven't seen it, Brendan Miller, he did a side-by-side video of Barry Bonds and Carson Kelly. And Carson Kelly is obviously flipped because he's a right-handed hitter, not a left-handed hitter. And so whenever the video plays through, it looks like Carson Kelly runs the wrong way. But yeah, we're dreaming about Carson Kelly these days on this show. I mean, he's been that insane. Brendan also tweeted his Baseball Savant page tonight, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. He continued tonight. Home run that kind of ignited a rally. Sometimes you hit a solo shot and nothing else happens. He hit a solo shot, and then the Cubs proceeded to score a bunch of runs after that, all in the same inning. So I guess you can say he ignited the rally. I don't know what else to say about this Cubs offense, Luke. I could sit here and do more PCA propaganda. I could sit here and tell you why we got to extend Kyle Tucker, even though Kyle Tucker went 0 for 4 tonight with a walk. The Ian Happ inevitable hot streak is on. You find with some slug now with the home run tonight. Dansby three hit
Loves the bottom of the order,
right? And even Nicky Lopez had a hit tonight, brother.
Like played good D
and played good defense. Had a bit helped Matthew Boyd go complete 6 innings with that double play to end the 6th. I mean, it was a full-on team effort tonight. Everything about this game, if you wanted a reason to like have actual real playoff hopes or just not be led astray like we have the last couple of years, this was a game. You played a really good team and you dominated them.
Yeah, you did.
In every facet of the game. Starting pitching, quality start, offense, 9 runs. In the bullpen, okay, they had a huge lead, but you know what? They threw strikes, and that is what we've talked about a ton with the bullpen and their problem. There's nothing you can say negative about this game.
There's so many good things. I don't even know which way to go. Like the Carson Kelly thing is so out of control. His Zips projection was 9 home runs for the season. He's got 8, and it's Cinco de Mayo.
I know.
I understand that he's made adjustments. What adjustments did he make? It's incredible. By the way, and people are saying I saw, let's see, is it Timbo? Yeah, Iceman Timbo says in all caps, tell me about the strength of schedule, Stuckey. It's the hardest in baseball. Yeah. They've had the toughest schedule so far, and this is how they're playing. they scored all kinds of different ways too, right? Like PCA, I just saw somebody in the chat say it's true. PCA caused 2 errors in the game.
Mm-hmm. With that ground ball.
And they took advantage of the errors from the left side of the infield, which is supposed to be great, by the way.
Yeah, with Chapman and Adames, yeah. But PCA hit that little dribbler in his first or second at bat, and Chapman fumbled it when he's supposed to be. I mean, he is one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball.
Good thing they didn't get him.
And he just, I don't know. There's something about that speed that PCA has that it just gets, it makes people get, or makes players get a little too, they try to hurry themselves. And maybe that played a factor in it. But I think the big thing is when those things happen, the Cubs took advantage of it. They took advantage of it.
And other years, other teams, they did not. Brendan Miller, not only did he put up a heat map in the side-by-side video of Carson Kelly, he says in the chat, I've never seen anything like Kelly. Just wow. Barry Bonds Jr. This is for you, Brendan. Cool you off a little bit.
Have some reality spray.
But you know what? It's not even reality. It's celebration spray tonight.
Oh, celebration spray.
Celebration spray. It's a close.
He says, don't spray me, Luke.
Get it away from me.
Oh, man.
I didn't mean to. I didn't want to get Brendan's hair wet.
Well, I could get real, like remember that one time I told you just spray me because I just needed to be I needed to be brought down from a high high. To be honest with you, I haven't got off the high. I mean, this is I've been high on life for a month and a month and 5 days. We used to dream at times like this, my friends.
That's Ivy. Ivy said, "Guys, this is what dreams are made of."
Yeah.
Scott C from Iowa says the Cubs are 12-9 against the best division in baseball. That is what's impressive.
Yeah.
They've been rising to the level of their competition, and we've worried about that before. We will talk about the trip to Milwaukee that we made, which was also awesome. Everybody that came and showed up for that, thank you. We had a great time. I kind of feel like that series against the Brewers, when they won the game when we were there on Saturday and it was 2-0, and I know Sunday happened, but it was 2-0, that's when it kind of felt like, really, for the first time, I sort of wasn't believing it at first. But that's the first time I thought to myself, they're the best. They are the best team in the division. This team is not a joke. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the season because they potentially have lost their 2 aces.
Right.
But this team's no joke.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get competent starting pitching, maybe not always 6 innings, but if you could just get competent starting pitching, guys who go out there and throw strikes, and you have this offense, it'll get you through this season. I'm not saying that you don't add anyone or anything like that. I'm just saying that this offense is for real, man, from top to bottom. And we sit here, complain about lineups, this and that, like we did on Saturday about Justin Turner being in the lineup. What's he do that day? Has an RBI single to start the game, and that's in many ways he kind of set the tone for that game that we witnessed on Saturday. Tonight, Ian Happ, 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. You know, the guy that started for the Giants, he was clean the first time through the order. Kind of hung a few pitches, I felt like, that first time. So I was actually really intrigued to see what he was going to do that second time through the order. And Happ made him pay the second time he faced him. And that's just kind of what this team has done. They make adjustments quickly, and when you make mistakes, they make you pay, man. And that was the story of tonight's game, in my opinion. It was just, you give the Cubs any form of if you make mistakes against the Cubs, they really take advantage of it.
You give them any opportunity, any extra chances, they take advantage of it. Did you ever imagine, and I asked this to the chat too, did you ever imagine that on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, we'd be sitting here feeling this good about this Cubs team? I thought there was a chance they were the best team in the division, and I thought there was a chance they were definitely a playoff team this year. But did you ever think you'd feel this good about this team, especially after back-to-back losses in Japan?
I mean, if you asked me, or if you told me that we'd have this record after the 2 losses in Japan, considering the schedule and all those things,
no way. I would have said no way.
I probably wouldn't have believed it, but I probably would have found a way to just think, okay, then if you told me that, then who broke out? Like, who are the extremes here? And it has been Carson Kelly and Pico Armstrong.
Yeah, Tucker's been Tucker.
Yeah.
Michael Busch has been pretty good.
Yeah, Michael Busch has been awesome. Yeah, Seiya Suzuki is quite literally a top 5 hitter in baseball.
And then pitching guys have exceeded projections. We'll talk about Boyd later in it. The bullpen has seemed to have bounced back and found some guys. Yeah. And they're going to need to.
And it's good to see Dansby Swanson continue to do what he's doing since he got put in the 8-hole. 3 hits tonight, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. I think Brennan tweeted this too. A week ago, he was hitting like 185. And today he's now up to 232 with a 720 OPS. So that's more like, obviously I think he's like a career 240, 250 hitter. So the point is this is a little bit more like it, right? So I think he's settling in there. And, you know, I've said before during this stretch of his, he's embracing the 8-hole. He's not complaining about it or anything, and I appreciate that. So
our guy Ron, who was on the trip in Milwaukee with his girlfriend, said, you know, this is kind of the same thing as last year, but doesn't this feel different than last year? Mm-hmm. I know they had a pretty good stretch early on, and then it fell apart in May, but it didn't feel like this. Mm-hmm. The team didn't feel like this. Chef Kevin says only 126 more games to go. That's right. I know.
Rob super chat.
Oh, we got a Toyota super chat.
Thank you.
Toyota super chat. What does he say?
He says, "Is Ian Happy the best leadoff hitter in baseball?"
Statistically, he's up there.
Yeah. I don't remember where I saw it or who told me, but I believe Ian Happ leads baseball in pitches per plate appearance, like seen, and that's why I've been like pretty like hard down on Ian Happ should just stay in the spot. I mean, with this offense, with where they rank in so many numbers, like why would you change
switch hitter, all of that stuff?
Yeah. And he's been hot since they went to Pittsburgh.
Yes. And
now you come back home and you play an NL West team and he's pulling out the big lumber today, which makes for more fun conversation about him. And 770, 777 OPS on the season now, batting 287. That's good when you got Kyle Tucker right behind you. So I expect that to be higher as the weeks go along.
Realistically, where's Carson Kelly ending up with home runs this year?
How many does he have now? 9? 8, 9?
He has 8. He was projected to have 9. Where does he end up? He was projected to have 9 home runs and 34 RBI in the season. He's got like 24 RBI and he's got 8 home runs and it's May 5th.
Oh, man. Could I just get, you're going to have to spray me? Like, can I just say 30 home run season incoming?
Here's why I'm not going to say anything crazy, because I remember when Wisdom hit 11, I was like, he's going to hit 40 this year.
Yeah.
How could he not?
That was April, though. Like, that was just a month.
Just April.
And then when the calendar flipped.
But he was playing almost every day, whereas Carson Kelly started out, complete platoon.
I do feel like Carson Kelly has started to get a little bit more starts than Amaya.
It does feel like maybe it's just because when he plays, we're like jumping out of our seats and he's hitting home runs, but is it possible he's become 1A instead of 1B?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Mark in the chat says 23.
Vanilla Chill thinks only 14 home runs this year. That would be quite the cool off.
Yeah. I'm curious to know like what else the other numbers look like if he only hits 14 homers.
Well, he's going to have some. I'm not even going to say what would have to happen.
Ron says 87. I like.
What about 83?
87.
Mark Miller, 23 homers. That seems like a realistic number. Let it still be him cooling off.
Mm-hmm. Roger says 30. So he's really drinking
46.
The Kool-Aid. Sean Caselli,
46. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what's unrealistic.
Get the Delulu juice out tonight, guys. Let's go.
We're going to talk more about it in a second. We're also going to talk about Matthew Boyd's great performance tonight and the start that he's gotten off to this season, plus the Shota info, and we'll talk more about our Milwaukee trip. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use code CHGO365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. With the early payout offer for baseball, y'all could have bet the Cubs tonight and cashed in the 6th inning. Is that when the big inning was? The 6th inning?
Yeah.
6th inning. You would
5-run 6th inning.
Yeah, you would have cashed out right then and there before the game even ended. With Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner. If your team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. All you got to do, again, is download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up, okay? When you use that code and deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, you can use those bonus bets on spreads, totals, player props, futures. You want to place $10 on PCA NL MVP plus 4,000. A week ago, plus 8,000. You can use your bonus bets on that if you want to. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be assessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Yeah.
Guys,
sorry.
Sean's screaming in the other room. Summer's going to be here before you know it. It's going to heat up this week. We're going to get the warmer weather. Is your home's air conditioning up for the challenge? 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving the area for over 50 years. Now's the time to get your air conditioning checked out. 4 Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. I don't know if you know this, 2024, last year, was officially Chicago's hottest year on record. The heat index even reached 114 degrees last summer at O'Hare. When it's hot and humid, oh, man, you want your home to be cool. Nobody likes to be sweaty or sticky. Man, it's the worst. Schedule your 4 Seasons AC tune-up today. Save $50 and enjoy a 1-year, no-breakdown guarantee. Gotta love that. Your trusted local experts are 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing and Electric. Visit 4seasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's 4seasonsheatingcooling.com. Cubs win 9-2, and already the live YouTube chat at the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, which you should be subscribed and have already liked if you have not.
Yes.
If you have, go ahead and tell a friend, a relative, a loved one about it. The chat is already suggesting and predicting times for Cody's Sam Adams American Light Beer Bat Chug.
Yes.
We've got Evil Wax with a 9.5, Sean Caselli 6.9, Mark Miller 9.6, Becky 9.9, Luke CFIO says 9.9. Everybody seems to think under 10 because you've proven it.
Well, consistency is key, and the Cubs have consistently been winning, which means I get to practice doing this. I even did one from home the other day, last week.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But with AI, we can't really confirm whether that's real. I'm sitting here. I can tell that this is real.
Okay, Luke Stuckmeyer.
Wrigley Man 1 says 10 flat. Benjamin says 9.2. The Iceman 8.9. Again, 10.25 is a quality beer bat chug. That's what we've decided. We may have to lower that standard. Dustin says 9.6. Wifey says 9.2. Vibes are high.
Let's go. All right.
Oh, wow. Nicholas thinks 6.2. That's the lowest I think I've heard predicted.
Brother.
So go ahead. Dedication, beer bat chug, Sam Adams, American Light.
I'll give it to Matt Boyd tonight because I think, he's been pretty good, but it's not like he's getting you 6 innings every night, it feels like, or every time out. We've talked a ton about the offense, so I kind of just want to give it to the pitching too. I mean, when you score runs, it's easy to you can theoretically say it's easy to kind of get those innings in like he did, and it was easy for the bullpen because you had a big lead. But I do feel like in the last handful of years too, sometimes the offense would score runs and then the pitching would give it away. So I think he deserves a lot of credit. He's been huge for the Cubs this year. He was an underrated signing, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. So I'll go with Matt Boyd, and, shout out to Dansby, 3 hits too.
When the Sam Adams American Light hits his lips is when the clock starts. Are you ready, Sarah, for this?
We going?
Cody Delmendo with the beer bat chug. Here we go, and we're underway. The beer is going down the barrel of the bat, right through the barrel, just like the Kentucky Derby. Here they come down the stretch. Delmendo, done.
966?
966 is what I have. How about that?
Look at that. Okay,
That's a
that
first.
has to be it.
Jinx.
That's a first.
You and I,
We've never had the same exact time.
That is a first. Yeah.
All
Beer
right.
bats in bunches, says Wrigley Man. You're right. And again, Cody's batting like 15 out of 16 on the beer bat chug.
I'm
this
Barry
year.
Bonds at beer bat
It is.
chugging.
It was a quality chug. It was a quality chug,
man.
Sean. Sometimes he'll do 2, but that's usually after a series win.
Or a sweep.
Yeah.
I would have.
Or if there's a no-hitter.
I was hungover yesterday after all the drinks I had at the casino Saturday night. But I would, if they would have swept, I would have like toughed it out and done one yesterday. But they didn't. But I'm not trying to ruin the good vibes. Bounce back, win tonight. I love that for us.
I don't know what Wrigley Man's asking. What's your personal record? I don't really know.
I think,
and to be factually informative about this, we don't know the exact amount of beer that goes in every. Cody just decides what he pours in, and that's it.
It's one can.
Nobody's judging. Nobody's watching him pour it in. I can't confirm. I mean, he could be putting apple juice in there. I don't know. But it smells like beer. He
don't
burps
discredit it. Come on, Stuck.
Craig says he got 969 on that one. A lot of people seem to get 969.
You can round it up, Anyway,
Becky wants to know if we won money on the slots. Oh, Becky, that's coming later in the show. That story's coming later in the show.
Spoiler alert, we did.
Yeah, nice segue, though, with your beer bet chug, because Matthew Boyd was the signing that we kind of just went, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right, now what are you going to do? What else are you going to do, Cubs? That's how we kind of panned it. I'm not going to lie. I didn't say it was bad. I said I liked it, but it certainly wasn't the star move that we were hoping for. Right? We were talking about Corbin Burns and other big names, and they gave us Matthew Boyd. And then we kind of looked around and said, well, it's a good deal. It's a good gamble. He's had injuries, but you got to do more than that. Well, so far Matthew Boyd has not allowed more than 3 runs in any of his 7 starts. His ERA, 2.75 after this. Listen, they're going to need guys to step up big time if Shota's out for a month and Steele's out for the season. And Matthew Boyd is a guy that's shown he can do it.
Yeah, 7 Ks tonight.
Yes, and I believe no walks. No walks, right, 5 hits.
Yes, I think that's the biggest thing that has impressed me the most with him is he's generated a lot of swing and miss. Mm-hmm. And I think I said that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing for me has been health. All right, knocking on wood. Knocking on the wood.
Knock on wood at home.
But because he, going into last year, he made his season debut last year against the Cubs with the Guardians in like August. I think he had Tommy John. He had some injury that he spent an entire year out. He has consistently had injury problems going into the season. So that was my biggest concern on him coming into the season. But I thought or figured or hoped, you could say, that he could be like he was the last 2 months plus the postseason with the Guardians. Mm-hmm. And he has been. So, yeah, no walks tonight is big because he's had some starts where he's had some walks and it's cost him his pitch count and stuff. When he doesn't walk anyone, you can get six innings out of him. So I thought the defense was really good behind him too. I mentioned the double play that he got in the 5th inning or in the 6th inning to complete the 6 innings.
Yep.
Ground ball to Nicky Lopez. No weird stuff. It just clean double play, right? And we've seen so many errors at third that it feels like anytime a ground ball is hit over there, you kind of hold your breath. Nicky Lopez is kind of holding it down over there defensively right now, which is exciting, it's at least good to see, right? But yeah, Boyd, he's just, I think he's been everything that I expected plus a little bit more. And what I mean by everything I expected was just a solid arm in the middle of the rotation, but actually performed to like, I guess, top 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially now with Steele out, and definitely up there with Shota out for probably the next month, so I think moving forward, it's just like, will he still be doing this in September? I don't know.
I don't know about any of them, Cody, but if we've talked all off season about how this was it in our eyes for Jed Hoyer. Mm-hmm. This team's going to decide whether he's here next year, period, right? Yeah. And we know third base has been an issue, and we know it was a gamble to go with Shaw, and it seems like a mistake. But has he gone out and found some – I don't know what his budget was. Mm-hmm. But let's just say there is a budget that's less than we want it to be.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
Less than the first tier tax.
Less than that tax. Or right at it, Right now, May 5th, you'd have to give Jed Hoyer a pretty good grade. because Carson Kelly so far has been, and I know it's early. Don't spray me. Carson Kelly has been a great move. Matthew Boyd has been a great move. Right?
Yeah. Colin Ray.
Flexen. Colin Ray. Like names that we all looked at and went, okay. Here we go.
Right.
Why are we so mid? Why are they making mid moves? I'm the first to sit here and say almost all those moves have paid off.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen enough of flexing yet, but as far as Colin Ray, Matt Boyd, Carson Kelly.
Minor moves.
Yeah.
They all seemed like mid-minor moves.
And
some of them have been spectacular so far.
I don't think the Cubs expected this out of Carson Kelly, but I think they expected this out of Matt Boyd. And I think that they felt really confident in Colin Ray and kind of like what they've done with him. Like his fastball velocity is up this year. He's hitting 95, 96 on a consistent basis. Sits mainly around 94, but he's ticked it up to 95, 96 on a more consistent basis as well. And that's not what he was doing in Milwaukee last year. So, the pitch lab, it gives and takes. Sometimes some guys come through here and they don't do well, and other guys do come through here and do better than what we expect. So I think everyone with those guys, it seems like a lot of people deserve a lot of credit. And those guys they're helping the Cubs get by with the rotation right now, specifically Boyd and Colin Ray. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to go out and get someone. They're gonna need to go out and get someone. And,
Agree.
And we'll talk about Shota and how this affects Cade Horton and all of that stuff, and other names that they could use. But like I said, when the offense scores like this, it really doesn't matter to me who's pitching for this team. As long as they throw strikes and they keep you in the game. You're not going to score 9 runs every game, but if you're scoring 4 or 5 runs, if you're averaging around 4 to 5 runs a game, you're going to have a good shot to win every night. And I think this goes back to the things that me and you have pushed these last 2 years. We come into the chat after a 1-run loss, and we're sitting and everyone's yelling about the bullpen and this and that. And it's like, this offense got 3 hits, That's why I've really celebrated the offense this year, because they're giving the pitching staff more room for error. So it's not perfect. It has potential to be even better down the road with some added additions. But for right now, considering the injuries that we've got, you can't really complain about Matt Boyd, especially,
No. And Chef Kevin is right in the live YouTube chat here on the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Sure, it could all end and we could all change those grades, but I've seen people in the chat giving their grades. Evil Wax says I'd give him an A- for his offseason moves. Ivy said it seems like Jed was in on some sort of secret.
Yeah.
What if it has to be an A- or a B+. You couldn't give him a lower grade than that right now. Right now, I'd say third base seems like an error by him.
Yeah.
But all of those smaller moves that were relatively inexpensive. And I think I forget who said it. I think it was Will, maybe. Mm-hmm. Somebody was on there, said, yes, he's found ways he signed guys that have exceeded projections. William Ferris. Jed has brought in dudes who have exceeded projections, what he talked about. That's right. Robert Nash, B+, A-. I'm there too.
I think
far.
When you look at the pitching, for sure, Boyd has been a great pickup, and so has Colin Ray, and some of these bullpen arms. Caleb Thielbar has really figured it out the last couple.
The Tucker trade,
weeks. Right? I'm just specifically talking about pitching at the current moment. Now, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't have gone and got Max Fried. That was the guy I wanted as far as the big name,
and he has been great.
And he has been great for the Yankees, And if they had picked up Max Fried, and you had this injury to Steele, and you had the injury with Shota, we'd probably feel a lot better, or at least a lot more calm about what's going on. And unfortunately, they didn't get him, and they weren't even part of the conversation. And I don't know why they weren't personally, but that goes back to the whole, what was the budget? And we can rehash it all at the end of the year or all-star break when we need to or something. But bottom line is they've just had guys come in and play better than what we expected. And Jed got guys who exceeded projections.
So far.
So far, at least.
So far. Cubs win 9-2. We're going to talk about Shota, and I see there is an update from Craig Counsell. We'll talk about that, look at some of the options moving forward and what it all means. But first, a word from our sponsors. Just like your favorite team needs a home court, home field, home ice advantage, your home needs a home flooring advantage, and Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. We've all been to the big box store. We've all wandered the aisles endlessly, staring at the shelves. Those big box stores might have a flooring department, but the person helping you with flooring may have been doing sinks yesterday, toilets the day before that, and they might be stocking light bulbs tomorrow. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring. They're going to be with you every step of the way. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home, get precise measurements taken, and have all your questions answered so there are no surprises. So schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, wait for this, can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard me right. A $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details.
Luke, what's your favorite Lucy flavor?
Generally, I say all of them, Cody.
Is there a particular strength that you like? There's, some, if you're used to using it, you might.
I like to try a little bit of everything.
All right. Well, sometimes it just depends on your day.
Yeah.
The mood, the day, right? Normally, it not so much this year, unfortunately, just because the Cubs haven't made me stressed out. But in some of those early April games, I had to pop one in because it helped me, have a little less anxiety. Sometimes on the weekend, especially in the summer, good time, especially on a little walk over to the lake. I feel like is a good time to pop one in. Anyway, you can level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/CHGO and use promo code CHGO2025 to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co and use code CHGO2025 to get 20% off. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. There was a comment from Ivy related to our grades about Jed Hoyer, Luke. Here it is at the bottom. He must have seen y'all's grades for him at the end of the year and decided to step it up. Remember when we all I gave him an F, and then I got destroyed online, and you gave him like a D-.
Yeah.
Because you're a nice guy. Anyway.
Craig Counsell, according to Marquee Sports Network, says Shota Imanaga has a very mild hamstring strain. All in all, pretty good news. They'll obviously be very cautious with this. If you haven't heard, they placed him on the 15-day injured list before the game. That's why Hollowell was up before this game. He was great today. Don't want to just talk about Boyd because Hollowell was real good. Gave you 2 really good innings. And Theobar, another scoreless inning. So the bullpen was good as well. But obviously losing Shota, we don't know how long it's going to be. Yes, it's a mild hamstring strain, but we don't know how he's going to deal with it. And hamstrings are a very funny thing. It cost Justin Steele a month last year, right? Let's just throw that out there as a ballpark figure, just a rough estimate. It could be more than that. It could be less than that. Let's just say it's a month. You need guys to step up. Now, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to, if you're still playing this way and the offense is going this way and you can get good efforts from certain guys filling in, it doesn't mean you have to panic and overpay in some crazy trade to get Lopez or Alcántara, whoever the trade you think might be coming down the pipe at the end of the season. You don't have to do that yet.
Yeah.
Because you would be greatly overpaying most likely for that now. Hollowell was good tonight. I don't think he's a guy. Cade Horton is the name everybody wants to hear. But the Cubs have pushed back on that multiple times, and they did mention, Jed Hoyer mentioned before the game today, Cade Horton is an option.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not guaranteeing it. His last couple starts have definitely been better than his previous starts. He's been good in general, really good for AAA Iowa, but they like what he's been doing more more recently. Okay, but he still hasn't pitched a ton at AAA.
Yeah.
He hasn't pitched a lot in the minor leagues still. Now, maybe this is one where you can call him up, but I'd love to call him up and never send him back.
Sure.
I still lean towards the idea that they're not going to call up Cade Horton right now, and that it's going to be Flexen and Ray. And the other name that's there, of course, is Jordan Wicks. Now, Jordan Wicks has not been good at AAA. He's got like a
13 ERA.
Here he's got a 6 ERA at Iowa.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know what numbers I was reading. Sorry.
Well, that his major league ERA. He had those 2 games.
I was reading the wrong one then.
Yeah, his ERA at Iowa, those in the 6s. I don't think it's going to be Jordan Wicks. I do think it's going to be Flexen.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try and bump that up with somebody else. But you have to admit that when the season started, we looked at the rotation and said, this could be pretty good. This could be pretty good. But now, and this is nothing against these guys because they've been good. Mm-hmm. If I tell you the Cubs rotation anywhere else in the country and I say it's Tyone, Boyd, Ray, Ben Brown, and Flexen, nobody's gonna go, wow. Right? Like there's no wow factor there. But it doesn't mean it couldn't be effective for a month.
Yeah.
Long term, it probably won't be enough.
Right.
Almost
in the short term, you could get by. Yeah, I kind of got into a conversation with someone on Twitter tonight. They were like basically saying, I don't know why anyone wouldn't want them to call up Horton. And my reason, honestly, because Horton's next start lines up with where Shota would have started.
Perfectly.
Because Horton pitched yesterday, 6 innings. Mm-hmm. I don't even think he gave up a run yesterday. But if that's how they were to do it, Horton would make his major league debut in Queens, New York, against the Mets, who are really good right now. And you'd have to face Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, that's having a career season like that. That offense.
If you can get through the Giants and Mets, mm-hmm. then you get an easier stretch of the schedule. You start to get the White Sox and the Rockies and some of those teams.
So for me, then you can counter this argument with, well, do you think Chris Flexen is going to do any better? I mean, I don't know. We've seen 3 innings.
He had like a 1.16 ERA at Iowa. He has been very good at Iowa. Maybe he doesn't have to be good for a whole season. Right. You need him to be good for like 3 starts, 4 starts.
No, I agree. Can he give you 4 or 5 strong innings in New York on Saturday or Sunday? Maybe.
Can Carson Kelly hit 8 home runs in 20 games?
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
I know Jordan Wicks has been bad in Iowa of late. His last start was terrible. I think he gave up like 7 runs in his last start. So a lot of those numbers are inflated. But when he was here for the 2 appearances, he came in like the first time he came in, he threw 5 pitches. It was that game where the Cubs blew it, but then Kyle Tucker hit that go-ahead homer against the Diamondbacks on the Friday day game that me and Braggs absolutely lost our minds at.
Yes.
Right? He threw 5 pitches in that game before the Cubs allowed a 5 spot that inning. The next appearance he came out, it was the 10th inning, and he gave up runs in both innings, but it was the ghost runner, and that was it. So I thought he actually looked good in that appearance. But, again, these are out of the bullpen. These aren't his starts. So I don't really know what to make of Jordan Wicks, but I do know that I've seen Jordan Wicks have success at the major league level. It hasn't been recent, but I've seen it. And
I'm shocked that he's struggling the way he's struggling.
Same, yeah. And I'll just be honest, it's not like I'm watching the Iowa Cubs every day or every time he starts, so I don't know what's going on there. But it does seem like he'll probably be flexing. But listen, I'm not here saying, like, standing at the top of the hill that it shouldn't be Cade Horton. If they just want to say full send and call up Cade Horton and your number 1 pitching prospect and try and go with the hot hand against one of the best offenses in baseball on this weekend, fine. I'm here for it. I mean, this team is good right now. You're playing well. I can throw one into Lake Michigan if we have to, if he sucks, or I can get really, really delusional about how good this team could really be if he has a great major league debut, right? So I just don't. I don't know. And the thing is all three of these dudes that we're talking about, you don't know what you're going to get, and that's the underlying thing about this entire situation. You know that no matter who you're facing, Shota Imanaga will go out there and give you a chance to win. So that's what sucks the most about his injury. But yeah, I don't really know what I really want. I want to go the safe route because I still think the longer Horton stays in Iowa, the better it will be for the Cubs long term this season. But I'm also like, man, you lost Shota and Steele, and it's May 5th. Yeah. Maybe it's time.
Ron says flexing against the Mets, then maybe they call up Cade to face the White Sox in his debut. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's a possibility they delay that a little bit. Might even be beyond that, but the White Sox are a softer landing spot for some of these guys to come up and make that their major league debut. If that ends up being what it is.
I kind of like what Evil X says. I think Flexen will start, and they'll give him a short leash, likely piggyback with Keller or Wicks. I would guess it would be
Keller's an option too.
Yeah. Keller's been great in the bullpen as like a middle relief / high leverage guy. I think they just want to keep him doing what he's doing. But if that means Flexen can, if they try to line it up where Flexen gives them 5 and then you bring in Keller to pitch 2 innings, 6th and 7th inning, go to Hodge, Presley, whatever, in a close game, awesome. But I don't know. It's great. It's we'll see what they decide because I think that we'll see a move before the weekend.
Yeah, we have a few Toyota super chats for you. The first is CJ Smith. One might say this is the spring of Carson Kelly. Thanks for the $2.
I believe that was our good pal Alex Cohen.
Yes.
He did. And then he didn't give us credit because you know where he got that from.
He knows where he got it. Benjamin with a $5 super chat. Who are the starting pitchers you would want us to target in the trade market? Alcántara from the Marlins is not pitching well right now.
Yeah.
But I still think he'd cost you a ton if you went and made that trade right now. You've heard Pablo Lopez. I don't know. Cease is not available now. King is not available now. You've got to wait and see. Right now, I don't think either of those guys from the Padres will be available because they're playing so well. They're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah. We got another super chat from Steven. Alcántara is really struggling.
Yeah.
Would you buy low?
I just don't think the price has dropped because he's not pitching well.
Why do you think that, though?
Because it's a small sample size. And at the beginning of the season, you were like, oh, wow. When he first started, the very beginning of the season, you were like, wow, the numbers are great. I don't think 1 month is dropping the price on a guy that you would have control over and that has pitched at an elite level. I don't think because he's had some bad starts that the Marlins are like, yeah, you know what? Unless they think there's something wrong with him. Well, they don't look at it and say, yeah, you know what? We better trade him before it gets any worse. I don't think they're thinking that.
That's fair. Well, let's call a spade a spade. He has an 8.42 earned run average right now. They'd be stupid to trade him right now if they truly want to get the most value for him.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that they're worried about it getting worse.
But let's just, for the sake of Steven's super chat, let's just say we get to the trade deadline and it's not going to be an 80 or
his ERA is a 6.
Yeah, say it's a 5 or a 6, right? Right now, I mean, okay, first 2 starts this season, he gave up less than 3 runs, but he didn't go deep in the game. Again, coming off Tommy John surgery, it's not like he's had a year to get away from Tommy John. Like, this is his first year back from having Tommy John. 2 earned, 2 earned, 4 earned, 6 earned, 3 earned, 7 earned, 5 earned. He gave up 5 earned to the Dodgers today, whatever. But I think the thing with him that I'm noticing that's kind of like, what's going on here is like he's not getting any strikeouts. He had 7 in the season debut against the Pirates, okay. But 4 strikeouts is the most after that. I'm not saying that you're completely wrong, but you can't sit here and tell me that the Marlins are going to be sitting by the phone and have the most leverage here. Like, I don't. If this continues,
I don't think they need to make, unless, like I said, unless they think there's something wrong with his arm.
Yeah.
Which would be dirty. Sure. Then they might as well ride it out because they figure the numbers will go back up.
Sure. I expect him to be better at some point this season, but I think right now, and even though I think you'd need to see a larger sample than just even the next month, say he's better the next 3 starts, I think you'd still need to see a good 2-month stretch of really good pitching, and he just hasn't put it together here to start the season. Again, he's had to face the Dodgers twice, the Phillies, the Mets as well. So he's had to face some tough teams, but this is a former Cy Young winner, right? So all I'm saying is I don't think they have all this leverage that we feel like they probably had maybe a month ago.
I just don't think they're in a panic to do it.
Well, they're not in a panic, but if they're really tanking like the way that it seems like they are, they're going to trade him, but I don't think you're going to have to give up the massive haul that I feel like maybe a lot of us thought they would have to. But we'll see. A lot of things can change in 2 months. It's May 5th. So you got the rest of this month, you got all of June, and then those trade talks are really going to start heating up at the beginning of July.
I just don't think the big trade is coming for a while.
Yeah.
Right now, I think you're going to have to stay above water with Flexen, with Ray, with Keller, with maybe Cade Horton. Ben Brown's going to have to be good Ben Brown.
Yeah. They could make an in-season trade here in the next month, but it won't be for an arm that people get excited about. If anything, it'll happen, and then all of Cubs Twitter will just burn to the ground thinking that we're not trying to win or whatever. And it's like, we'd have to sit here and try and calm everyone down, Like they could make a trade for Herman Marquez from the Rockies or something, and he's had success over his career, but he's not a fancy name or anything like that. Right. He's on a team that's terrible.
If this were worse news about Shota, you'd have to start talking about a real legit name with the way the offense is playing.
Yeah.
Right now, hoping that it's, a month or 3 weeks would be 3 weeks would be awesome if that's what it is for Shota.
Sure.
You hope these guys can step up, because so far, if this team has shown us anything, it has shown us that they are resilient.
Yeah.
And so this is another big opportunity to show us just how resilient you are this season, the 2025 Cubs. Hey, we went to Milwaukee, and we didn't have a post-game show yesterday. Thank goodness, because they lost. But the first 2 games, we had our trip to Milwaukee, and it was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
We had a shuttle going from Potawatomi Casino and Hotel, which, by the way, we had a little buffet beforehand for the show.
Yep.
We had sliders. We had bratwurst. We had brownies. We had the little cheesecake pops.
The little pecan pies.
Oh, those were good. I didn't have one of those.
I had 2 of those.
The pasta salad was good.
Cody,
I enjoyed the wings.
We had wings.
Yeah, the wings were good.
Look at that group. We celebrated. We celebrated Wrigley North.
The Saturday game was awesome, man. PCA hitting the 3-run homer. Kyle Tucker hitting one out. And Dansby Swanson hitting one out too. And there was no stress on that. And there's no stress in that game, and those are my favorite games. Is when there's no stress, you can just enjoy the game and hang out with your friends. And we talked with a lot of diehards this weekend. It was
Jeremiah
fun,
came from Tennessee with his family.
Jeremiah came from Tennessee. I'd shared drinks with Elliot, a diehard. His hotel room was right next to mine. He had a whole Yeti full of them in his hotel room when we got back from the game.
Was he making you do tricks? He's like, do a beer bat chug for me, Cody.
No. But we were talking about life and stuff. That was cool.
It was a good group. We had fun on the shuttle. We had fun before the game. We had fun during the game. Fun after the game. By the way, Sarah, do you want to confirm what you won? We each had $100. Anybody that was 21 and older had $100 and signed up for the pregame show and the buffet. The Potawatomi Casino gave you a $100 card in casino rewards.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically it was like playing with free money.
Oh,
did we all use it on slot machines? Is that whatever? Because there were certain things you couldn't use it on. Did everybody use slots?
I did slots.
I did slots.
Yes.
So here's what happened. My nephew wins $40 as we're getting ready to go to the game. And I'm like, I couldn't get my card to work at first because I'm old. You know, I played around with buttons. I was a little confused. I said, all right, we're coming back. He won $40 on like 2 polls on a $1 slot. We get onto the shuttle, and everybody's talking about how they won.
There was
2 guys were talking. I don't know who. I didn't catch their names. They were talking. They won $1,400.
Yeah. There was people. Steven, the producer for CHGO Bears, he gambled for like 10 minutes because he was rushing to get home. He won over $200 from his voucher. He profited $200.
I mean, he should have to give that to us, right?
But like he literally just quickly gambled and then left, and then I got a text from him saying it was like $250 something or
unbelievable.
Something. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Emma, our social media manager, she won like $80, profited $80. I broke even. I didn't lose or win money, but I profited, or I guess I broke even with the $20 because we had to take out some ones. I took $20 out in ones, and then I made that $20 back. So I didn't lose or win money, which I call that a win.
I won $50 before I left. I won $50 and my nephew won $360.
Damn. I won 70, so.
I mean, everybody was, it was a great time.
We had a great time.
I met a guy. The hotel was nice.
Yeah. I would say one of the highlights of the game outside of being at the game was I was walking back from the bathroom and getting in line for a beer. And someone who watched our show was ahead in the line and wasn't part of our group, but he watched our show and he noticed me. He's like, hey, Cody, love the show. And I was like, can I get in line with you here so I don't have to stay at the back? He's like, yes. So shout out to him. I forgot his name. He let me get in line with him, and we talked some ball in the line and got some beers. So
let's see. Ron cashed $150 off the voucher.
Man. $150.
Tell you, everybody won.
Let's go.
The Cubs won. And listen, I don't want to take credit, but credit to me. The Cubs hit 3 home runs after I did that rally.
Yeah, you had the rally ice cream.
Frozen custard.
Yeah.
Frozen custard. I did the twist.
Yep.
I did the twist, frozen custard, and I told someone, I said, listen, PCA's up. He hit 2 last night. We better run over there. Run over there. Boom, home run. I take 2 more scoops of that twist. Boom, Dansby, home run. 3 home runs.
From my understanding,
whole season turned right there.
From my understanding, this is not confirmed, but we might be going back later this summer.
Well, I got to tell you one thing. If we go back, I sure hope they give us $100 in casino play.
Yeah, seriously.
And if they do, I'll be calling lots of people to go.
To remind people, too, if they miss this opportunity to hang out with us in Milwaukee, we still are doing our Friday 120s. And so you guys can still hang out with Cody and when Luke wants to come and Braggs. And
next
Emma.
one is White Sox. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, the White Sox on the 16th.
White Sox on the 16th.
And then the Reds on the 30th. Those are the 2 for May. So
I'm thinking I'm going to make my debut Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I like it to be warm at the ballpark.
I know.
Usually I wait till June. Friday 120 Club. The key is you got to sign up to be a diehard for all of this because all of the stuff, including the trip to Milwaukee, everything's discounted.
Yeah.
You get 20% off.
Yeah. And
so what was already for $50, that buffet, the show, which is priceless, of course, and then just the $100 in casino play was worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it was a great deal.
And drink tickets.
Yeah. So if you missed, you can hang out with Stuck at the Cincinnati Friday 120 Club.
I think that's probably the first one. Maybe there's a shot at White Sox, but I think it's probably Cincinnati. I like to let it warm up just a little bit.
Yeah, I get it.
And I don't want to be out there if Chuck Garfine's going to challenge me to a fight, all that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, it's just that it was a good time. We had a lot of fun. Now, tomorrow, by the way, we will have another post-game show, and it's Verlander against Ray. Talking about guys that got to step up. Colin Ray's got to keep doing what he's doing.
Well, Colin Ray outperformed or outdueled Paul Skeens last Thursday.
Now he's got to outduel Verlander. By the way, Verlander, a 4.38 earned run average. More innings than Ray, but Ray has a better ERA. Verlander, 32 strikeouts, 13 walks. The key is his last 3 starts have been much better. Early in the season, he was not very good. So Verlander's been getting better. Now, can Ray knock off Skeens and Verlander?
Well, okay, this is the thing.
It's not all the pressure's not on him because the offense has to keep doing what they're doing.
If you go back to that start against Paul Skeens, the Cubs worked a lot of walks and long counts against Paul Skeens.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat on my couch and I watched it play out and was like, I can't believe what I'm watching. So now you get a old Justin Verlander. Sounds like not necessarily an easier matchup, but it's not Paul Skeens. So I know they weren't good against Freddie Peralta Sunday, but listen, man, it really, to me, and this is crazy to say, it doesn't matter to me who's on the mound for the other team, the way that this offense is playing right now. Oh, Freddie Peralta, okay, on Sunday, but the offense was great all weekend. They were good against Skeens. They've been good against Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen.
Yeah.
They were good against Tyler Glasnow. I'll just say this. The way that they're going to be able to get to Verlander is they got to have the same approach they did against Skeens. They got to look for fastball early in the count and do something with it. And they need, and if they're not able to do that, they got to find a way to work some long at bats and get him out of the game. Because Giants use their bullpen tonight. Now they probably didn't use any of their high leverage guys since they were down the entire game. But listen, the Giants are going to try and come back and have a better game tomorrow. They're a good team, so I'm expecting tomorrow's game to be a little bit more of a fight. So, but it's just with the offense, it's hard to have any kind of negative feeling about them right now.
Sean is right. I don't think there's any question. Verlander's a Hall of Famer.
I agree.
You give me a Hall of Famer. And I still say, while we just had the Quintana revenge game doused by the Cubs, and he had pitched great leading up to that game in Milwaukee. By the way, that is the first series win for the Cubs in Milwaukee since 2022, I think.
Crazy.
They exercised some demons.
Yeah.
They didn't get the sweep, but they exercised some demons. Verlander is a Hall of Famer in my eyes. He's been one of the greatest pitchers in baseball for a long time. And he's letting Schwarber go is a regret for nothing, is a great regret of mine. And that they didn't, Bryce Harper is a regret of mine. But Verlander, who wanted to come here and thought he was coming here, Verlander letting that slip through your fingers, that's one they have to regret.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a long time since that time period, but I just, at this point, he's not the same guy, in my opinion. So, well,
I hope not. But he was one of those guys that I kind of threw out there in the offseason, wasn't it? When I was like,
yeah,
why
him
not?
And Max Scherzer.
Yeah, I was like, Scherzer, why not take a fly? I don't know what's going on there, but
Yeah. Scherzer's a guy that I think I threw out on the show about as a deadline acquisition if the Blue Jays aren't in it.
How's he pitching?
I haven't looked.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't looked.
Ever since our Vlad Jr.
We tried to
We started it. We just couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
Chef Kevin says Greg Maddux was a regret of mine. Yes, letting him go was definitely it. Godfather says donate all the winnings to the Tucker Fund. Ricketts needs help. He's talking about from the trip in Milwaukee. Yeah. I don't know if my $50 is going to do it, but they do need to extend. Your Friday Win 20 Club's got a pretty good record going.
We're 3-0. 3-0.
And with one of the greatest games of the season.
Yeah.
Listen, they don't have the Ass Man, they don't have Steele, and now they don't have Shota. And if you would have told me that before the season, that we'd be sitting here in May, Steele'd be out for the year, Ass Man hasn't pitched yet, and Shota's on the injured list with a hamstring. If you would have told me that they're 21-14, is that the record?
22-14.
22-14? Never would have believed it.
Yeah.
Never. I would have said, oh man, they better start getting ready to sell. That's honestly how I would have felt. If you told me those three things had happened and it was May 5th, I would have said, they're going to have to sell.
Yeah. Well, you said the season was over last year in June, so that's
I did,
surprising.
And I was right.
You were right. It's not an optimistic outlook, but you were right. So I guess credit to you for being negative.
Credit for the custard, and credit to me for being negative and right all the time.
Just looking at the standings, if you want to look at the standings this early, Milwaukee and St. Louis both won tonight. looking at the Reds. Reds lost 4-0. I know we've kind of talked about them as being like the biggest threat. So, I don't know how many games ahead in those standings they are right now, but the Reds are at 500. The Brewers are they're either a game or two. Maybe they're right at 500. Both the Reds and Brewers are 18 and 18. So you're 22 and 14. It's a good spot to be in right now, all things considered, with the injuries and whatnot. So, yeah, you just got to keep chugging forward. They really got to find a way to at least go 500 this week, because then you get the Marlins next week and the White Sox, and then get the Rockies at some point this month.
You want to feast against those teams.
Yeah, you absolutely want to feast against those teams. So if you can go 500 or 4-2 again would be incredible. Yeah. Right? But if they win tomorrow, then you're playing with house money on Wednesday. Then you go to Queens and play one of the best teams in baseball and see what happens and see how you measure up against a team like that, even though you've already played the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, the Padres. But there's it's kind of this week's another one of those measuring sticks. I felt like April, I don't think a lot of people were measuring the team. It was just like, oh, we're playing our best baseball in April right now. But we've seen this movie before. Well, here we are. It's May 5th. I know it's the beginning of the month, but we just beat the Brewers in a series. You beat the Pirates in a series that didn't necessarily, it wasn't always fun, I guess you can say. And now you start off this homestand with a huge win tonight. You win tomorrow, I'm going to feel really good about the rest of the week.
Real good.
So I'm asking for a bare minimum 3-3, which means that you would win one series and lose the other. But if you can go 4-2 and win both series, that's awesome. So
Mac in the live YouTube chat here at the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, which you should subscribe and like, please, and tell somebody about it. Mac says, Luke wanting credit for predicting the sun is coming up. Mac, as a former meteorologist, I would tell you that actually it looks like the sunny weather's probably not coming until Saturday, when we will start a stretch of at least 5 days of 75 to 80, maybe even 85 degrees.
Today was...
It's going to be perfect weather starting on Saturday for like 5 days.
Okay.
So I will take credit for that when it happens too.
All right. William says Scherzer's on the 60-day with a thumb injury.
Oh, well, good thing we didn't sign him.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Don't listen to me. I wanted to trade Ian Happ for Moncada.
You wanted to sign Scherzer?
Not recently.
2 years ago.
A couple years ago when things were real grim.
Man. All right.
Well. Anyways, Cubs not grim now. Cubs win 9-2. Thanks to everybody in the live YouTube chat. We see you out there. It was a great chat today.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun with him. We'll be back doing it again tomorrow after hopefully the Cubs lock up a series win against Verlander and the Giants.
John says, Luke, does your leg fall asleep when you sit like that?
I don't sit like this for very long, so no.
Hit the like button on your way out. A huge crowd in here tonight, so make it math correctly, because it's not mathing.
Yeah, it's not mathing right now. Yeah. Like button on the way out. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Fly the W, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.